Hello there. Today we're talking about natural bodybuilding. Natural as a non-enhanced. No use of steroids, no use of muscle enhancements. So anybody has any questions, drop them in please in the chat box because I love to discuss natural bodybuilding with you. Natural bodybuilding. I'm William Nico. Natural muscle since 2005 when I first competed in the NPC Eastern USA. So, Eastern USA, 2006, I came back with a vengeance in the NPC Metropolitan Championships. And then I decided to go to a natural organization. This is what I discovered a natural organization. Yes, because the NPC wasn't a natural organization. They didn't require drug testing, which means a guy like me who was just taking vitamins and protein powder was competing against guys who were taking all kinds of pharmaceutical drugs to pump up their muscles, to gain their muscles, to, to manipulate their internal organs and their hormones to have like super physiological energy levels. And me, all I had was my vitamins and protein. And that was unfair. It was unfair to compete against guys who were competing, taking steroids. And I was just taking protein powder and vitamins. So I decided to go over and try a natural organization. I decided to switch from a drug taking organization like the NPC, which is the amateur leg of the IFBB. So if you're not familiar with IFBB is where all these big muscle monsters that you see in the magazine and in the news media, that's the IFBB. And the guys from the IFBB originally come from the NPC, and those are the guys that was competing against me, taking vitamins and protein powder. Come on, forget that. I switched over to the natural organization. It was one of the ones were called Muscle Mania, my first natural organization. My first natural organization was Muscle Mania in New York City. And I liked it because there was a lot of competitors. They really put on a really extravagant show, lights on stage, and they awarded 20% of the score for competitors who had a good, nice posing routine, a nice laid out good posing routine. Natural bodybuilding is about posing. Look at that. And so Muscle Mania was about presentation, nice stage lights, putting on a show with good posing, being a crowd pleaser, having personality. And so I fit right in because I love to pose. I love to express myself to the audience and the spectators. And though I was competing against a man who was a heavyweight, who weighed over 200 pounds, and I only weighed 176, I beat him and I won first place. I was never able to win first place in a non-drug tested show like the NPC, where the guys who take steroids, they can be 50 years old, but they are taking steroids and they're getting big and massive, 30, 40 more pounds than a human being can normally put on because of their drugs. And I was putting on muscle naturally, but I couldn't compete against them. So after I won Muscle Mania, I decided to explore the International Natural Bodybuilding Federation, which was around for a long time. And the guy who invented the International Natural Bodybuilding Federation was a man who I first met as a teenager. And I just joined the Natural Bodybuilding Federation. I competed there, but it was much tougher because they require you to be much more defined. They required very low levels of body fat that were very dangerous. It was common to see competitors with as low as 3% body fat. So in natural bodybuilding, low levels of body fat are very strongly emphasized. And how do you get to such low levels of body fat in a safe manner? You have to eat right, and you have to do it, allow your body time to increase its metabolism through training, through endurance training, through HIIT training, because HIIT training increases the body's need for glycogen, which is when you're involved in natural bodybuilding, you need to do HIIT training. But it's very tough when you're on a calorie restricted diet to go out and try to sprint on a treadmill, to do jumps, to do a circuit training for 30 minutes when you're on low carbs and low calories. So I didn't need to be on low carbs, but I did need to be on low calories because low calories is the only way your body is going to burn off fat. Though the balance of nutrients at certain times in the morning, from the morning to the PM, if you take in fats in the morning, it may not be so advantageous because your body processes carbohydrates better in the morning. So if you're a natural bodybuilder, you're better off taking your carbohydrates, cereals, and other carbs in the morning. As the day progresses, you want to lower your carbs because your body has a tendency to store more fat. The reason the body stores more fat with carbohydrate intake in the evening is because your body cannot handle the insulin that it releases when you eat a carbohydrate at nighttime. Body cannot handle the insulin. And so there's something called insulin sensitivity. Your muscles have receptors that allow to accept and absorb, attach the insulin inside the cells. Your body has these receptors in the muscles that allow the insulin to enter the cells and perform the metabolism of taking the nutrients and repairing the muscle. But the receptors inside the muscle cells do not work as well in the evening as they do in the morning. So that is why it is important to take your carbohydrates in the morning. If you're a natural bodybuilder, you emphasize fats, good, healthy fats in the evening. So they're monounsaturated fats, and they're the omega. There are also the omega fats, 3, 6, and 9. You want a higher percentage of 3 because they help the heart. They help the internal organs. They help lubricate your joints when you're training. What do you think lubricates your joints? What do you think brings down the inflammation? By stimulating prostaglandins, something called prostaglandins. That's a big word. But when you go to the drugstore and you buy aspirin, that is to stimulate your body's prostaglandins, and that is how the aspirin reduces inflammation. But you don't really need to buy aspirin because fish oils do the same thing. They stimulate prostaglandins. So that's why eating fats is very important when you exercise. Because fats from fish, you have olive oil, you have canola oil, you have flaxseed oil, many beneficial oils that help your body's joints feel better. It's not all about muscle, it's about the joints in natural bodybuilding. So, and you have proteins are very important. Proteins released slowly in your body provide a steady amount of energy. But there are some proteins that are released really quickly. Say if you have a simple form of protein, like whey protein, that's broken down by your body, released into the body quickly. It's called oxidation. And your body may not even get a chance to utilize because that whey protein, because your body's very smart. And if you are dieting and you have a low energy level because of a low calorie intake, your body does the smart thing. It'll take the whey protein, convert it into glucose, because that is what the body needs when it's deprived of calories. So it'll take the protein and it'll convert it to glucose, and your muscles are not going to get any of it. So what do? Take a slow acting protein. You have casein, you have the meats, you have the best, in my best composition, the best protein that has the best composition is a whole egg. And it also contains enzymes that help your body utilize the protein. So you have to take a variety of protein sources. You cannot stick to just one protein source. So that's a natural bodybuilding. Oh, let's check the chat box. Hey, Kyle. Hey, how are you, Cal? Nice to see you. Oh, you want to see? Hello, Jimmy H. I wish I can see you lifting for biceps and those. Oh, yes. You know, Jimmy H, Mondays and Fridays are the days that I do my biceps and arms in my program. So I will do a live for training my biceps on a Monday or Friday. And I will do a live tomorrow on training the biceps, where I can show how to train your biceps. But one thing I could demonstrate to you is the movement of the biceps, which is basically to flex the arm here. Flex the forearm to the shoulder. And that's what the bicep does. But also the bicep helps turn the wrist in and out, in and out. You're turning it outward here. You're turning it in. You're turning it outward here. You're getting this part, the long head of the biceps. Is actually, it looks shorter, but the muscle is actually longer because it has to attach to the shoulder and help the shoulder out. So this muscle here not only helps the arm, the forearm, but helps the shoulder. So when you lifting that hand to your shoulder, you have to keep that shoulder nice, steady in place. So Jimmy H here, I'm demonstrating what would be a dumbbell curl, what would be a single arm curl. If I was Jimmy H, if I was holding a weight, and hey, Cobb, as well, if I was holding a weight, I want to keep that elbow close to the ribs, nice and tight. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this with the wrist. I just want to keep the wrist straight and move this forearm to the shoulder. Now, if I was holding a barbell, the barbell's much heavier and it pulls your spine forward. So if I was holding a barbell, I want to hold the barbell close to my body, keep the elbows back, curl, not up here, curl to my upper chest. Then you have the reverse curl, where you pronate your hand and you're getting this part of the arm. It's very important. So this is the brachialis. It helps support all these elbow joint here and your wrist. Many people hurt their elbow doing movement, tennis. So these muscles here, the forearms extensors, they help. So does the brachialis. So if you're holding a barbell, the barbells what they call the EC, the handles at an angle. You can utilize that barbell, or you can use the straight bar. But caution, when you're doing a reverse curl with a straight bar, be careful not to use too much weight because you can easily hurt the delicate tendons in your forearm because the bar does not allow the wrist to be at a natural angle. A natural angle where your hands is usually neutral. A straight bar does not allow that. So you can strain the tendons. You're better off, you're doing reverse curls, use what they call an EC curl bar. It's a bar with handles that are at an angle. This is natural bodybuilding. Learning about the proper movements of your body, learning about the best nutrition, most healthiest foods for your body. I'm able to keep a body like this because I abide by the nutritional laws, abide by the exercise laws. I do all my exercise according to the rules of fundamentals, according to the rules of the fundamentals of movement, of the fundamentals of proper movement. So I'm going to show you here. I brought a goodie today. I brought a band. So the resistance band, as it stretches, it increases the tension. As the band retracts, it reduces the tension. It's not like a barbell, which has a constant tension, whether it's down or up. The band has less tension as you lower either your hand or your limb. You lower the joint as you flex the joint, typically, to say we're talking about your biceps. Okay. Using a band, as you lower it, you have less tension. As you stretch the band, and as you raise your forearm joint, as you raise that joint, move that joint close to the body, the band has more tension. Now, bands are elastic. They stretch, contract, stretch, contracts. Do you know that not only do your muscles stretch and contract, but did you know your tendons stretch and contract? So when you utilize bands, you're actually strengthening and by training your tendons to stretch and contract, you are applying tension to your tendons in a much safer way than a weight. Utilizing this is a great way. I always use this to warm up. When I was backstage, popping up for a show, I loved and I prefer to use bands because I can hold the joint at different angles safely without placing tension on the joint, and allow me to stimulate smaller areas in my muscle. Again, we're talking about, if we are talking about the arm, you could curl the weight simultaneously. You can lean back, you could twist your wrist. You can't do that with a weight. You'll strain your elbow here. You get epicondylitis, see. So, but with a band, you won't strain your elbow with a band. Look at that. Excellent weight. I could do that. Let's do that for a little while. Let's see what happens. I'm still stimulating blood flow to the muscle and to the tendons and ligaments. Don't forget to breathe. Tendons are excellent. Hey, does anyone have any questions? Talking natural muscle here, talking natural bodybuilding. You like another pose? You can hit another pose here. We are talking natural bodybuilding. We are talking natural muscle. And we are demonstrating, we are displaying natural muscle. That is the latissimus dorsi. These muscles here are the lats. They bring the arm down and backward. Today I'm going to do pull-ups. And I'm going to do rows. I'm going to work my lats. I'm also going to work the muscles in between my shoulder blades, the muscles in my mid-back. Today I'm also going to work my chest. So anyone has any questions, please. Hey, I'm happy and I welcome everyone to my channel. And I would love to receive questions from anyone. I really would. It's great. You know that I don't do these lives for a long time, but sometimes when I do get on here, I spend more time. I spend a longer amount of time, and it's my pleasure to spend more time with people out in the world. Yes. So hey, my name is William Nico, and I competed from 2005 in bodybuilding all the way up to 2012. That was 7 years of competing naturally. But I competed against guys who took drugs, but I didn't take drugs. I only ate food, vitamins, and proteins, and some, like I said, vitamins. And yet I won 8 times. I was able to do that with a lot of dedication and a lot of knowledge that I got from studying books, reading, getting certified as a professional trainer, meeting and making friends with top athletes, not just bodybuilders, but athletes, people who are familiar with physiology, exercise physiology. I also went to college to study physiology. I also studied kinesiology, the science of movement, of the mechanics of the joints. And it's very important. So I understood how to move the joints properly, the position that enabled you to get more strength, to apply more strength in a safe manner, kinesiology, in the best movements in a most efficient manner. So natural bodybuilding, you're always looking for the most efficient position to move your muscles, to move your joints. It's not like if you're taking steroids, you don't care, you just go to the gym, you grab a heavyweight. That's not the most efficient way to do things. You will not look pretty. You will not have a pretty shape. Only if you have efficient movement will you have a pretty shape. Yes, indeed. So I will see you guys again tomorrow when I'm going to do a live on training the biceps. And I hope to have you guys and girls here again. You have a great day.